Hi, guys. Welcome to ParaWomenradio. I'm Amy. On August 13th, 2024, marked the 6-year anniversary of the Watts family tragedy. And I wanted to mark the occasion by remembering the case and updating ourselves on where it stands now. Did you think the case was closed? Well, officially, yes. Unofficially, no. No, my friends. Just no. The only thing that is a constant in this case is that 3 beautiful human beings were lost. If you're counting their little Nico, that makes 4. I want to say this, though. I never met Shanann and the girls. I've thought of them so often in these last 6 years. And the only thing I've ever wanted for them is for this to have never happened. I'm sure the Rucheks and millions of others around the world wish this every day. What a shame that this wish just can never come true. So let's dive into this on this episode of ParaWomen Radio. While we wait for everyone to motor on over to Watts Island, I'm going to roll some credits. Shout out to my Power Replay crew and my dragonflies. It's Weird Watts Wednesday on a Friday, babies. Guys, welcome to ParaWomen Radio. I'm Amy.
Carefully strumming this old guitar, words rolling out into the fire. Never ask why my heart burned blue. Here in the haze where you inspire me. Here in the darkness I hear my cue. Time to find some solitude. Here where my soul bleeds openly, deep in the heart of sin and you. Here in the blue, I'm falling deep into you. Carefully strumming this old guitar again, words rolling out into our fire. If heaven had wings, I'd steal them and fly away with you for a while. Here in the essence of gratitude, your dreamy little smile on my lips. I miss my cue, but baby, I had you. Miss my cue, but I had you for that day.
Here in the essence of gratitude, I've got my power crew here with me on this Friday. How's everyone doing? I'm sorry I missed Friday. I've just had a really rough week. My autoimmunes just are not playing fair with me. I've been so tired. I've had to take like nap after nap after nap, and I'm like, me and sleep are usually like kryptonite. Like I don't know. But it's not like bad, draggy sleep. It's like I get so drained that if I take just a quick little nap, I wake up and I'm like refreshed. And it's like before I take the nap, my anxiety is like at its worst. And I know I need to lay down and take a nap and recharge. And I do it and I wake up and the anxiety's better. So I don't know what that's all about. It's weird. Weird. Life is weird these days on doing this microdosing. I don't know. All right. So on August 13th marked the 6-year tragedy of the Watts case. And when I was doing my research, I like to think of myself kind of like a mixed media artist. And I like to grab things from here, there, and everywhere. And when I went in to try to look for print stuff, I couldn't find a whole lot. And I noticed that a lot of news agencies marked the 5-year anniversary, but I guess because it's 6, it doesn't get the attention that like 5, 10, 15, 20. But I'm positive with Shanann's family and friends, 6 years marks a huge loss in their lives. So I just wanted to talk about the case tonight and kind of update you where everything is. And I have a little tribute that I'm going to play for the family. I'm going to play it now, and then I'm also going to play it at the end of the show. It's very short. It's like 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes. But I just want us to mark what this is all about and who this is all about. And this is a safe space, this community. We can all say how we feel as long as we can say it in a respectful way. And so going into this 6-year introspective, I just want everyone to remember that. This is for Shanann and the girls and Nico.
You tell me I should go tonight, then I'll do my best to leave. But as fate has so decided now, I simply cannot find a way. Am I doomed to travel endless roads and spend my days and nights with broken things? I wish that I could kiss your pain away. I still feel that we were meant to be. Now I stare beyond that broken door. How I wish that I could stay. If we spin around in circles, babe, can't we somehow float away? I think I'll cut down that old willow tree. Do you remember that old tree? I will break it into pieces, babe.
Okay, so I just wanted everyone to remember who this is about I love Shanann and the girls. I can safely say that I love Shanann and the girls. And if I had known Nico, I would have probably loved, well, no, I would have loved him too. And so Nico was a part of Shanann. And do I think Shanann was perfect? No, nobody's perfect. And she was human. And I won't uplift her into sainthood. I won't do that. And I'll talk about the case. But I want everyone to know that I love Shanann and the girls. And I know I've heard from time to time people say things like that, well, the Rucheks got money from their death. And so they got money for the house and stuff like that. I guarantee you that if they could have Shanann and the girls back, they would give the money back. They would give the money back and double it, triple it. Oh, for the rest of their gosh darn lives. And if you think otherwise, there's something really wrong in your heart. And I think you really need to look inside your heart and really look. So, with that said, I want to talk about something. I want no hate to go after anybody. Actually, I don't know. Let me think about it. I still don't know if I want to talk about it. But let's jump into it. Okay, let me get my screen together. And also I want to go over into chat and say hi to everybody. That's me. Okay. Hi, Lily Eve. Hi, Heavenly. Hi, Chrissy. Who else do I spy? Hi, Thunder Chick. Hi, Pauline. And did I miss anybody? Hi, Giselle. And I see Nightbot is doing its job. Hi, Timeless Mysteries. And if I missed anyone, I'm sorry. Hi, all of you out there in the outer world. Be sure to give this live a thumbs up. It helps me dance out into the algorithm. Party out there. Bring more people back to the part. No. Oh, hold on. The little dog wants to go where I don't want her to go. I have a short in my laptop. I feel like I'm holding stuff together with duct tape. Like I'm just praying for this miracle to come through. And I'm holding things together with the duct tape. And yeah, my cord has a short in it. And I don't want her to go there. And that's exactly where the little dog wants to go. Is that not life? Okay, so okay, I said hi. All right, here we go. Let me share this tab. Sorry, I've been away for a week and I swear, like when I don't do I don't stick to my live schedule, like 3 lives a week, things get rusty and bumpy for me. I got to get my live memory back. Okay. So, like I said, I couldn't find much to market. So I just thought we would talk about a little bit about the case. If you're just tuning into this live and you don't really know a lot about the case and you want to know what we're talking about and what's happening, like what is the case? Um, I thought we would do a little timeline. So, from happy pregnancy announcement to a shallow grave, the full timeline of the Chris Watts murder case. And also, we often don't read everything or watch everything, or I will stop and start things or speed it up. Um, that's for fair play use, and I must do that. And I must do that for my own consciousness. I must do that because I wouldn't feel right taking from another creator or another source and not citing my source. And if you want to watch everything in its entirety, and I understand sometimes I do, sometimes I just want to watch it and I don't want to hear the host, the live person chat at all. But my lives are I talk in them. So that's what you're gonna get here. And if you and you know, hey, like I said, I get it, I get it, I get it. Um, but I always put everything down in the description, the links, and so you can go on your own. Okay. And everything in here is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and it's just all my opinion. In November 19th, 2018, Chris Watts received 3 consecutive life sentences for the August 2018 deaths of his pregnant wife, Shanann Watts, and their daughters, Bella, 4, and Celeste, 3. That summer, Chris had gone from a loving husband to a cheater to a killer. This is the full timeline of his murder case, complete with phone records, text, photos, and police records. We won't be going through all that. But like I said, I will put the link for all of you. uh, so some people might find this disturbing. The editor's note. On August 13th, 2018, missing person posters were showing the faces of pregnant Shanann Watts and her 2 daughters, 4-year-old Bella and 3-year-old Celeste, after they suddenly disappeared from their home in Frederick, Colorado. At first, Watts' husband, Chris Watts, agreed to TV interviews where he appeared torn up. Not true. If anything, everyone was like, that's when the red flags went up for most people um, over their disappearance and begged for their safe return. And interesting enough, the Shanann side of the family said, don't do it. And he did do it. And they were so happy he did. 2 days later, he was arrested in connection with their deaths. On social media, the couple seemed like they had a perfect marriage, but Chris had been secretly seeing a coworker, telling her that he and his wife were in the process of separating. Over the summer, Shanann noticed that Chris was growing increasingly distant and desperately tried to save their relationship. When she returned from a business trip in the morning of August 13th, 2018, she and Chris got into a fight, which ended with Shanann, who was 15 weeks pregnant, being his hands being put around her throat. This is all, we don't know if this is true. This is just one of the stories he's given. And their 2 daughters, the breath taken from them. Despite Chris's waning affections, nothing seemed to explain why he unalived his family. This is the full timeline of the Grizzly case. June 11th, 2018, Shanann records videos of her surprising her husband with the news that she's pregnant with their 3rd child. June 14th, 2018, Shanann records a video of Bella 4 singing a song about how much she loves her dad. June 14th, 2018, Chris enters coworker Nichol Kessinger's information into his phone, Kessinger would later become his mistress. Many of us believe that she already was. June 17th, sometime around this date, Chris tells Kessinger he is married and has kids, but is in the process of separating. Kessinger later told police. On Father's Day, Shanann writes a tribute to her husband on Facebook. June 19th, Shanann shares a picture from her first ultrasound on Facebook, adding that her husband is the best dad us girls could ask for. June 27th, 2018. This is all 2018. Shanann tells Bella and Celeste he takes Bella and Celeste to North Carolina for a 5-week vacation while her husband stays at home and works. July 4th, Kessinger goes to Chris's house for the first time, allegedly. I'm all like, you can tell the parts where I don't believe it's true because I throw in the allegedly and then the French like, I don't believe you laugh. The first time set up his diet and weight loss exercise goals to have their fight, as she later told police. July 7th, a first phone call is logged between Chris and Kessinger. July 10th, signs of tension begin to show in the Watts' marriage, according to their text messages. July 14th, Chris and Kessinger go on a date to a car museum. That later, Shanann makes 4 calls to her husband, which all went unanswered. July 18th, Kessinger sends Chris semi-nude photos of herself, which he stores on a secret calculator app on his phone. Sorry, I'm reading my phone. I don't know what's going on with the Dragonfly membership. I'll have to look at it. Remind me at the end, and I will look and see what's going on. I'm so sorry. July 28th, 2018, Chris and Kessinger visit the Great Sand Dunes National Park and spend the night at a nearby campground. July 30th, Chris gives Kessinger a love letter. Is this the empanada letter, or was that in? There's so much that I can't remember it all, or was that the birthday card? Chris gives Kessinger a love letter before leaving town to join the family on their summer vacation. Looks like he drew that himself. Chris is the only one in this story that I had, I feel like I channel my aggression towards, because he just, The inside of the letter contains lyrics to the song Down to Earth by the band Through the Roots. I can't resist the feel you put me in, what does that say? Another level. Whatever, Chris. Whatever. July 31st, 2018, Chris flies to North Carolina for the final week of his family vacation. His and Shanann's reunion does not appear to be happy, according to a copy of a text Shanann sent to Chris, which she later forwarded to a friend. Oh, it's like I've got rocks in my mouth today. August 4th, Shanann sends her husband a long text message accusing him of failing to stand up for her after his parents exposed their daughter Celeste to nuts, which she was allergic to. Later that day, Shanann appears to have had a fight with her in-laws, which prompted them to skip Celeste's party that summer. August 4th, while Chris is away, Kessinger searches for wedding dresses on the internet for over 2 hours, according to a review of the cell phone data. August 7th, Shanann confides in her friends about her problems with her husband. August 9th, Shanann tells a friend that Chris Watts went to her ultrasound but was cold to her, so she decided to cancel the baby's gender reveal party. August 9th, Shanann leaves for a business trip to Arizona. On the way there, she tells a friend that she had her best talk yet with Chris that night, the night before. So sad. He did the same to Shanann what he does to his family now. Just strings them along. August 9th, Shanann texts a friend a handwritten letter she drafted to give to her husband, in which she says she doesn't know how they fell out of compatibility, quoting him. August 11th, Chris hires a babysitter, saying he's going to a Colorado Rockies game with his coworkers. In fact, he is taking Kessinger on a date to a sports bar in Erie, Colorado. So strange that they had to go to two, right? We have some things coming up tonight that it looks like Kessinger, well, Jay's, I haven't looked at it, but Jay is for Justice has some stuff on Kessinger that we're going to take a peek at. August 12th, Shanann sends a friend a draft of a speech she wants to give to her husband when she returns to Colorado the next day. A neighbor's surveillance camera captures Shanann returning home from her business trip. And later that morning, Chris and Shanann get into an argument. So he says, when he wakes up for work, according to his testimony, he told investigators his wife accused him of cheating. He snapped and then he put his hands around her neck. According to Chris, the noise of the fight wakes Bella up and she enters the bedroom and asks, "What's wrong with mommy?" According to Chris, Bella watches as he wraps his wife's body in a sheet, drags it out to his truck. This is all on August 13th. Surveillance footage shows Watts loading up his truck and leaving home. Chris later tells investigators both girls sat on the bench seat of his truck as he drove out to an oil site where he works to dump Shanann. At the oil fields, Chris takes the breath out of his daughters with a blanket before dropping their bodies into two separate oil tanks. After disposing of the bodies of his wife and daughters, Chris looks up the lyrics to a Metallic song, Battery, which has a line, "Cannot kill the family." I just do not think there's any coincidence in life. Like, I think there's like maybe one or two, but maybe not. But this many quinky-dinks, I don't know. I don't know. Don't tell me the sky's green when it's blue. August 13th, the Watts realtor texts the couple and Chris chats with her about the current state of their home and what they're looking for in a new house. At one point, the realtor questions why Shanann hasn't weighed in on their conversation. "She hasn't been around all day," Chris responds. "It's very odd." August 13th, Shanann's friend Nicole Atkinson reports her missing when she can't get a hold of her. After looking through their house, a neighbor invites Chris and a police officer to his property to review his home surveillance footage, which disproves Chris's story that his wife left with the girls while he was at work. August 14th, Chris appears on Denver 7 to talk about his wife and daughters. August 15th, after police discover Chris has a mistress and he fails a lie detector test, he admits to unaliving his wife and burying her in a shallow grave at an oil site. August 15th, Chris Watts is arrested on suspicion of 3 first-degree murder charges and 3 charges of tampering with a deceased loved one. Shanann Watts is discovered in a at the oil site. The girls are found as well. August 21st, Shanann's family appears in court as Chris is arraigned. November 6th, Chris Watts pleads guilty to all 9 counts against him. That's my birthday. Well, whatever. We got justice on November 6th then, didn't we? Whatever justice we could get. November 15th, Kessinger speaks out in an interview with the Denver Post. November 19th, Chris is sentenced to 3 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. And then February 18th, Chris speaks to 3 investigators at the federal prison where he is serving his sentence and finally tells them the whole story of how he unalived his wife and daughters. And they want us to believe that the case is closed, wrapped up in a neat little pretty bow. The end. I don't believe it. I don't believe that story. That story is full of holes that countless internet sleuths have uncovered. Oops. Hold on. That a lot of people have uncovered. But I want to look at some of the past lives that I did. I like to do lives that update like what life is like in prison for Chris Watts, and I need to do one soon. And I need to get like this. I got to get this panel together. I've got all these great ideas, but I need this flare to stop. I just need it to stop. Okay, I see it. Giselle, I'm so sorry I missed it. It was starred. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting me. It means a lot. And I love you, girl. I love you. And, you don't have to give me these super chats for me to love you. But supporting my channel means a lot to me because I want to go out and grow. And I want to support, like, for example, I want to be able to help contribute back to Heavenly and Chris C, my amazing, amazing wrenches. I want to one day be able to give them a position paid for what they do, because what they do for me is amazing. And I want to go out there and I don't want to only support me. I want to support others. And I want to bring a light to this dark, dark niche. It's a dark niche. And I want to bring truth. And I want people to understand that just because I say something different than you doesn't mean that we can't still be friends. Like, I can dislike people that you like, and we can still be cool. It can still work. I can think one way and you can think another way, and it can still work. We don't have to be and or nothing. The baby doesn't have to be thrown out with the bathwater. And we can do things in a kind, reasonable way. And I have this ability to, like, people can come at me angry, and I have this ability to not get angry back. Like, I don't know if it's something about my emotions, if there's like, I've got that cord cut in my emotions, but I have that ability, and I want to teach others that ability, that we have been conditioned. We've been walking around in the dark, you guys. We've all been walking around in the dark, bumping into each other. And that's what we were trained to do. Like, we were taught to, you know, it was in school, it was us or them, right? Us or them. And it doesn't have to be that way. And there's a new way of thinking out there that's coming along. But not everyone knows that new way of thinking. So if we can mirror it to each other, I just have this vision for this really beautiful community. So anyway, sorry, I went off into the weeds. Thank you so much, Giselle. It means a lot to me. Okay, so I was going to show you, we're going back into the Wayback Machine, and talking about Chris Watts and what his life is like in prison, biatch. Prison, biatch. Biting your own tongue is your way. Well, you know what? A way is a way, is a way is a way. But another way is helping people diffuse that anger. But who's to say one way is right and the other way isn't? That's another thing. I won't say one way is wrong and the other way. I'm just saying what my way is. And, I just love you. Giselle says, I know that, Amy. I know that it moved on me. Oh, I know that, Amy. I know that it's your heart. Us why I'm here, because of the lady you are. The $2 was a test. I want to give you more. You just class act, your mods class acts. Right. We try to be that way. And it doesn't mean that I feel I'm superior than others, because I don't feel that way at all. In fact, I struggle every day of my life to feel like I deserve. Like, I'm working on myself, just even feeling like I deserve a piece of the pie. So how could I possibly feel I'm superior than anybody else? I'm just showing you my way. And I hope eventually, because sometimes I see like other creators when there's scandalous stuff, I just see all the money flying at them, and it's like hard because it's so easy to lean into that. But I try not to lean into it. I try to stand in the middle of things, and I'll say, like, if I think like Shanann did something that I don't agree with, but on like the most part, I think Shanann was an amazing class act. I just think she was the chef's kiss. There were some things I don't disagree with, and that's just, she's a human being, and I don't agree with everything that I think the best person in the world does. So I don't think she did anything to deserve not being alive. And those little girls especially didn't do anything not to be alive. So let's go into the Wayback Machine and see what Chrissy Poo is up to. So last year I did a live miss where I challenged myself to go live because everybody does Vlogmas, but I like to do lives, and I'm like, I'm going to create my own challenge. And this year I'm challenging all the live creators to do Live Miss 2024. It's where you go live every single day. I set where I had to go live at least 10 minutes every single day for the 25 days leading up to Christmas. Now, not everybody celebrates Christmas, and like even Christians, I've heard Christians say that Jesus wasn't born during this time, and it was plopped down during a pagan holiday. But there's a lot of power around that time, a lot of good energy power that comes. And then people will say, well, there's a lot of bad that comes too. Yeah, but when there's so much light, when there's light, the darkness has to come. If you look at anything, if anything, it, when there's light, there's darkness. That's just the way of the world. So you can focus on the light and you can focus on the dark. And it doesn't matter who you are. If you've done things wrong, I've done things wrong, and you had your face steadily towards the shadow, at any time you can just start to turn and face the light. It's not a single moment where your sins are forgiven. It's the repetitive daily action of never doing what you did again. That's the forgiveness of your sins. Or that's the way I feel it is. So here we have Chris, and I don't know what day this was. This year I'm going to put what day it was. But oh, I know what this is. This was a video that I did from a live. So that's why it doesn't have the day. But this was Livemas, and we're going to do it again this year. So if you have any requests, I'm going to start doing some things in my community tabs to see what cases. This is going to be when I will start introducing new cases into the rotation, and the cases that are popular will get picked up. This is what I did last year. Gypsy Rose got into the rotation. She's very popular. I was very interested in her. The rest is history. Okay.
Of his time in prison.
I don't think Chris Watts has any desire to get out right now because he is being taken care of. He doesn't have to do anything. Well, I mean, he has to do things, but his days are ordered. He knows what to expect pretty much day in and day out. He doesn't have to worry about money or take care of a family. He can like schmooze with girls. I think he might like boys too, it doesn't.
He is schmoozing with girls. I mean, he says he's a Christian, but what does he do? He schmoozes with girls and he strings his family along. It's disgusting.
Matter to me. If you like who you like, but I think he does. And so I don't think I don't think he's like hating his life too much. I mean, his family's all up in his butt, like I don't think he thinks his life is too harsh or bad right now. What do you guys think?
The prison source also told the messenger that many fellow inmates have harassed Watts while others ignore him completely. The prison source said, quote, "You don't want to be a baby killer at Dodge, so he's the lowest of the low, but he's trying to help others, even while he mourns his family." The prison source also said he deserves the punishment he got. He knows that, and he's going to serve the rest of his life sentence. That's his future. And then they said that he also keeps pictures of his family still in his cell. And that's it. It wasn't a huge update.
When we found out that he keeps...
Oh, I have a little update on the Dylan Tallman. I don't know if you guys know this, but I've been in touch with them. I just got this really bad autoimmune where I'm just now reaching out to people. So if you emailed me and you haven't heard from me in a while, you should probably email me again because I've just gone through a bad flare up. And yeah, so I reached out to Jamie, who is Dylan's girlfriend, and I explained what was happening, and she said that Dylan is being moved and there's a lot of limbo going on. So, but once he is situated, we really are going to do an interview with him, and we're going to do it in a different way than what's been done. And I'm really excited about it. And so just that's coming.
keeps pictures of his family in his cell. Was Shanann included in those pictures? Let's see what they're saying in the chat. Jay Mueller says, I hope he goes to bed at night.
What do you guys think? Do you think he should be able to have the pictures in his cell? Do you think that should be illegal for him to not be able to look at the people that, I mean, whether you believe he did it or not, he said he did it and he's in there for doing it. Should he be able to have pictures of people that he brutally unalived? What do you guys think? Should I do a poll? I'll do a poll. Let this start going and I'll do a quick poll.
Would be like, is like for Chris, and we're gonna watch that too. You could give this live a heart, a thumbs up, a smile. Even if you don't like it, please let me know. Helps us dance out into the algorithm, bring more people back to the party. If you don't like it, please let me know why you don't and what I could do to improve. Because I'm working on improving us.
And he is eager to start a new life with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said?
His girlfriend.
Yeah, he reportedly spends a lot of time corresponding with scores of smitten women who have written him. And the report claims many of his pen pals.
Well,
We know this to be true. And I think that's another reason he's like just loving prison. He's got all these women writing to him. I have spoken to some women who have wrote to him and have become good friends with one of them. She wrote, Angela, she wrote from Angela's Aging Essentials. She wrote to him because she's a Christian and she felt like she needed to make sure he knew God.
We recently had Angela on with those letters. Let's move forward.
And
Yeah, we covered
Checkmate Humanity.
Checkmate Humanity is a very good channel. We covered this, I think, on day 3 of Live Miss when he brought on Blair.
I don't think this is what I think. Okay,
Sure.
This was just a confirmation that he was seeing scores and scores of women. And then 5 months ago, we had this thing where we knew that he was going to be exposed by his cellmate. And really, there's a few more things that he's been up to, like, I don't know, blaming his Jezebel mistress. That's the thing. That's the story that's been like blasting the headlines lately. This, and I don't know. I call it a bombshell. I haven't looked at it yet, but the J is for justice. The Nichol Kessinger house truck at the home bombshell that we're going to look at. And then we have a little something on Shanann's brother. He has an update on the case he has against Armchair Detective.
I was out in the snow one time. I went like that. Rain went off on the rocks. So I was panicking trying to find out like, I can't wear this anymore. But so after that, she left me alone for a couple days, and she texted me outside in the field. And then after that, we just kept texting back and forth, and it was just, it's like, like she used to work in a low rig out in North Dakota, I think. And we just kind of trading the stories back and forth about what we did and everything. And then one day it just kind of went to a different level, and then I never thought I would ever go to that level. But she was talking about meeting up after we got back from San Diego. Yeah, we go to San Diego from the 22nd to the 26th of June, and we met up after we got back. And
how did you guys meet up?
At a park in Thornton. Thornton somewhere. And after that, we just kept seeing each other pretty much the whole month of July.
So let me ask you this. You can tell me if I'm wrong. You strike me as somewhat of a shy person. So when you guys were meeting, did it just kind of very initiatory, like flirting at first? Okay, from both sides?
Yeah, it was just kind of like feeling each other out.
According to Chris Watts, he talked with Shanann about a possible separation and says she became enraged and During his apparent confession, he told his father that he went downstairs, and when he went back upstairs, Shanann had allegedly suffocated the 2 little girls. Watts says he then strangled Shanann out of anger and took all 3 bodies to a remote oil storage site being used by his employer. Shanann was buried in a shallow grave. Bella and Celeste's bodies were found in crude oil tanks nearby. And in the days after the family was discovered dead, police spoke with Kessinger about her connection to the case.
Am I in trouble because I deleted his text?
You're not in trouble.
I didn't know what was going on at that point.
So, I know, does that cause question?
Of course
it does. There is, but is it criminal? No. Is there concern that you're hiding something? Potentially. That's why I want him, or I wouldn't be asking for him.
I know.
And you've been upfront with me about everything. I don't have a concern that you ever told Chris, I don't want you, go kill your wife, or get rid of your kids, or I don't want to date you if you have kids. None of those things ever came out of your mouth. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
So, but until those text messages that are deleted are there, and all that, it's just speculation. But it's kind of like, why did you do that? And I get your excuse. I understand what you're saying, that on Tuesday you realized who this man was and what he had done. You didn't want him to be part of your life anymore, so you got rid of it.
I didn't even want to see it on my phone. It was like freaking me out because I remember I like deleted them, and then he sent me another text, and then I deleted that one too.
Right.
This is a sad case, but it is an important one to tell nonetheless. And one of the reasons we're able to present you stories like this and talk about the law and talk about the facts is in large part to the support we get from our sponsors. And that includes Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Look, if you should find yourself in a position where you're hurt and you need legal representation.
That commercial came right at the point that I got up to switch the air conditioner.
Morgan & Morgan may be who you want your.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think about it and I'm like, he could have had that capacity to do that whether I was in his life or not.
Watts ended up entering a guilty plea in exchange for the death penalty being taken off the table, and he was sentenced to 5 life sentences with no possibility of parole. But after he was sent to prison, Watts finally revealed to authorities what really happened that night, or at least this could be the real story. We honestly will probably never know. But he says after the argument about divorce, he strangled Shanann to death, that it wasn't her killing the kids.
You're funny.
And when 4-year-old Bella walked into the room, seeing her mother in that state, he told her, "Mommy doesn't feel good," and wrapped Shanann's body in a sheet. He put the body in his truck and drove it and the 2 girls to the oil site, where he proceeded to smother the children to death and hid their bodies. Since he went to prison in 2018, Nichol Kessinger has basically dropped off the map, preferring to avoid the public eye. Not surprising there. Police have never said that Kessinger had any knowledge about Watts' crimes. However, now it seems Chris Watts may be placing the blame on Kessinger for what happened. Because in recently published notes from Watts' cell out in Wisconsin, he was moved there, we've learned he labels Nichol Kessinger a Jezebel who destroyed his life. Watts evidently writes letters to God as a form of journaling. In one of those pages from 2020, he writes, "Dear Heavenly Father, I have backslidden. I am like a sheep gone astray from the flock and have fallen into a pit. The snare of the enemy has entrapped me. The words of a harlot have brought me low. Her flattering speech was like drops of honey that pierced my heart and soul." He goes on, "The blessings you have bestowed upon me were right in front of me, and still I followed the perfume of a strange woman. The enemy and his Jezebel mock and scourge me as they celebrate another capture. You, O Lord, did not leave me captive or condemned. You heard the prayer of the destitute and of the prisoner appointed to death." Now, Dylan Tallman was in the cell next to Chris Watts for around a year. He was locked up on drug possession charges, and he told the Daily Mail that he and Watts became friends and studied the Bible together. The 2 apparently even planned to write a book together. But when Watts backed out of that deal, apparently, Tallman instead turned the writings into a series of his own books called The Cell Next Door. According to Tallman, Watts told him that Kessinger gave him an ultimatum on the night of the murders. It's your family or me. All right, so with that in mind, and clearly a lot to talk about, I want to bring in prison consultant Justin Paperny to talk.
So how do you guys feel about that? Nichol Kessinger saying it's your family or me. And now it's all about the Jezebel, Nichol, not about him anymore. And not about taking accountability for what you're doing. That's another part about your sins being forgiven, the accountability. And yeah, where's the accountability? Where is it? Lily Eve says, this sounds like Sherilyn wrote this. I read her book and threw it in the garbage afterwards. Yes, it does sound like she might have like took it from somewhere. Sorry, I had to. I was just watching a video about Carla Faye Tucker. Oh gosh, May, why, May? Why? I don't. She became a Christian after unaliving 2 people. Ah, yes, Carla Faye Tucker. I don't know, but with Carla Faye Tucker, she was doing good and she took accountability for what she did. If it's the person I'm thinking, wasn't she on death row? And I don't know if she won her appeals, but I don't think she did. But yeah. I think you can do some truly awful things and still have some kind of, when you leave this earth, if you live in this earth, some light, if you take accountability for what you did and never do it again. And the only way you can show people that you're never going to do it again is day by day. And so that takes time, day by day, but day by day you can build up grace. But I don't know. I don't think Chris is doing that at all. And I believe in prison reform, and I want to get more into it and talk about, what can we do to help that system, because it's a mess. It's always been a mess, but yeah.
More about this. Justin, thanks for coming back here on Sidebar. First, let's, from the basic point of view, it's not uncommon for prisoners to talk to one another, let alone about their crimes, right?
It's cathartic for a lot of prisoners to talk about it. Something we encourage people to do is to really talk less and do more, because problems can follow. And in this case, it's a disastrous crime. And rather than try to show any acceptance of responsibility and own it, as we say, he's continuing to create more pain and shame and devastation for the people that he crushed. So he has no one to blame but himself. And this prisoner who's electing to write these books, he's resourceful. He's been in and out of prison.
I've been thinking about Shanann's family, and they have never really trashed Chris. They've always said very few things have been said by that family about Chris. Other things have been said by the other family about Shanann that I think are just devastating. And I hope one day, I just always hope one day, I don't know, I have hope for Cindy, old Cindy Watts. But yeah, I just think that the Rucheks never have trashed him, and that shows some class right there, in my opinion.
As I understand, and he's looking for an avenue to bring more attention to his work and hopefully create a path to not return to prison. But it is not uncommon for people to go to prison, to form friendships, to open up, and unfortunately say things that can only make matters worse for people they've hurt. In a high-profile case like this, it's very likely this news would get out.
And sometimes worse for themselves, because how many cases do we cover where there's jailhouse informants? Hey, I had a conversation with this guy, and let me tell you what he said, and then testifies against him in a trial. It doesn't matter for Chris Watts, because he's going to be spending the rest of his life in prison. But talk to me about the religious component of it. Do people, when they go to prison, do they have a newfound lease on religion? Do they become spiritual? Because that's what you're seeing, in a sense, from these Chris Watts notes.
I believe he's using faith or religion as a tool to advance his agenda, that this wasn't his fault. Now blaming his former mistress is tragic. The lion's share of people who go to prison and find faith use it the right way. They want to make their life better. They want to improve. They never want to return to prison. What we have with Watts is a once-in-a-century sociopathic, narcissistic killer.
Yes, we have looked into Dodge, and Dodge is pretty scary. I would I'm really looking forward to interviewing Dylan and Jamie. I'm just really, really looking forward to it. So yeah.
And because of that, he is incapable of reform. He is incapable of introspecting and recognizing that he alone is to blame for this. So it's easier to feel sorry for himself in that prison, blame other people, and cloak it under the guise of faith. Even some of his letters stating that God has forgiven him for his infidelity misses the mark. He murdered his wife, his young children, his unborn child. He's a sociopath. And like I said, one in a century type narcissistic killer, though it was so shocking when he was in trouble because he looked fit, he looked healthy. He's a handsome guy, married with children. It's hard for people to comprehend this is what a killer looks like. But in this case, this is a stone cold killer. And it's a tragedy that he's continuing to make matters worse for the victims in this case, including his mistress.
And by the way, I think that's so interesting that people who are locked up, and he's going to be locked up for the rest of his life, they have to try to, it's easy for him to say God forgives him. It's easy to put himself as the victim in all this, right? Because he's trying to make sense of the situation and has to make.
Okay, so that's what Chris Watts is up to these days, continuing to be a big old victim. I wanted to show you this little Dieter Watts, the little wiener dog,
And Dieter turned
probably witnessed it all. He turned 12. Good old Dieter's with
and Dieter turned
Shannon's sister. This was the last video that they have, actually, and it's of Bella with Dieter. This was on Wednesday, August 8th, 2018. Shanann and her daughters had returned from their trip to North Carolina. It was discovered that Chris had met with his mistress, Nichol Kessinger, on this day. This particular day was also when the last video of Bella Watts was posted. Some speculate that Chris may have been with his mistress during the filming of this video. What are your thoughts? Do you think he was with her, plotting and planning? Ooh, Tennessee, Minnesota, Missouri. It gets cold in Missouri and Minnesota, doesn't it? Australia, you're having your winter. I have to stop thinking so northern. When I said one day, I said something about the dog days of summer. I should have said in the United States or something, North America. Okay, so that was the last photo or last video of Bella with Dieter, and good old Dieter is with the Ruchaks.
These girls. Give him kisses. Say happy birthday. Happy birthday, Dieter. Say happy birthday. Give Dieter kisses. Give him kisses for his birthday. Give Dieter kisses, girls. Give him kisses. Say happy birthday.
So Shanann obviously loved Dieter and turned 12 years old 7 days ago. This was a few months ago. It was on 5/6/24. And there he is. Little Dieter, if he could only talk. So speaking of Dieter, we're going to move on to Frankie. Frankie has an update on what's going on. He has a case that he has in London. Well, let me show you this. We did an update last year, a year ago, on one of his updates. This was Frankie versus the armchair detective. This is who he is fighting. I'm thinking that they're hoping that, like, if they win the fight with the armchair detective, that, I don't know, they'll win in other cases. I'm not fully sure what the true fight is. But But yeah.
The roost. Oh, well, Frank did call Chris recently.
So a year ago, Frank had called Chris.
Just see what this is. What did Frank say to Chris? He wanted him to do something. I forget what it was. What was it? I don't even remember now. Oh, this is Dave.
Did he
always
play like?
I don't want to use his content because I use it quite a bit, and that's not fair. So, well, I don't use it quite a bit, but it always goes to him, and he always has the latest updates because he is friends with the Watts. So, Frankie Ruchak, Frankie Jr., he did comment on one of my comments, and he said they were close to sharing information on how they are dealing with the people that are desecrating Shanann's memory. So he said that. So I will be looking for that. Well, let's just go over to his page and see if he's done anything new over there.
And we can go over to the page that is anyone sure about what is going? I know that he did awful things. Like he posted awful things. Or did he? I don't know. I am like not for silencing people's freedom of speech, and as bad as things can get, I just don't know if how much I don't know. I would say that I'm safely in the I don't know zone on how I feel about this, because I have a strong feeling that for freedom of speech, and hear me out, you guys. I am going to talk about this. Okay, and I want no hate to go towards anybody, because I'm feeling no hate towards anybody. I never want anybody to go to anybody's page or anybody. No flying monkeys. No, ParaWomen Radio has no flying monkeys of any sort. Over the weekend, I got a copyright strike by Sandy Ruchak on a video that I did back in May. And the video is of the grave site. And it's like one of those it's like my videos that I do. It wasn't just her video, and it wasn't her whole video, because I don't do that. I don't do it. Not, you heard me say it. I wasn't even doing it back to Dave. Like I'm very aware of what I do, and I try to look at it like I'm driving traffic to that person. I'm not playing the whole thing. I'm getting it juicy for them, and I'm sending it to them. Which, I mean, she doesn't care if I'm sending it to them, but that's what I do for other people. Now, here's my dilemma. I can fight it and I will win, because I know the laws. Unless she has that particular video copywritten and she has it before I used it. That's the only way she will win. And I haven't fought it, because this must be a truly devastating time of year for her. I can't even imagine. But here's the thing. If she didn't want me to use it and she emailed me, I'm one of those creators where I would have taken it down. We're out there, Sandy. We're out there. Creators that love your family, but doesn't co-sign for anybody's bullshit. Everybody has bullshit. So I'm in this dilemma. I don't know what they're trying to do. I'm like, is it just because it's the cemetery video? Is it the particular video that I chose? Is it just because it's that one? Or is the family planning on going after me? Like the Scorpio in me, the intense Scorpion, the Scorpio with 4 or 5 additional planets in Scorpio is like paranoid. What are they trying to do? Are they trying, because if you fight it, you've got to give them all of your information, which I think is completely unfair, that I have to turn over my whole life to fight a video. But that's another story for another time. I won't fight it during this month. I have time. I have 90 days. I'm going to let this period of time pass because I consider it a mourning period and a respect period, and I'm not going to double onto them during this time. I just won't do that. But I am very curious as to the reason why it was done. I did notice that another creator that they don't like used that same exact video, maybe even like days within I used it. And I don't know if she was just like, oh no, hell no. No. I'm just wiping everybody out. I'm hoping that's what it was, but I don't know. I'm sending that family immense love and support during this time. I just can't imagine what they're going through. So I am curious what this whole thing is about, and I guess I'll have to dig into it further. So I'll be expecting a live on it. But this is an update on the case. It's there's 5 updates that he's done. Let's go to the first one and then we'll read the 5th one. So, well, let's go in and let's read what the case is about. How about that? How about those apples, Amy? Let's go to the start. So he's looking for a pledge, and listen, if you're going to talk about the money, and I don't want to go, like, these are like avenues that I'm not going to go down. He's asking for the money. It's his right to ask for the money. People are giving him the money. I see people giving money to creators and just like crazy things. People that can't afford it are giving it. And that whole system makes me sad. So I only want people to give what they can give, and give because they think my content is worthy of, and you want me to stick around, because eventually if this doesn't pay off, I'm going to have to move on to something else. But just hoping that it's something that you want and it's worthy. And I don't want to be given tons and tons of dollars for something that isn't worthy, or it's just like drama driven. But here they're asking for, well, this is in pounds. So they got 110,000, I think. And it says stretch target for, I don't know what that means. 60,575 pledge. Oh, they asked for 110 and they got 60. Okay. Since the cruel unaliving of my beloved sister Shanann and her children in 2018, my family and I have been harassed on social media by online trolls who are sending us threatening and abusive messages. Okay, so that's where it goes too far. Some creators know that if they say something, people will fly, their followers will fly over to the page. Like, they know, just say the word, and they even like do a little wink sometimes, they know. And that's awful. I've had it happen. And I've not even I can't even imagine having their life like ripped open, all because their loved ones were unalive. Like, just cannot imagine. And I think a lot of us can imagine and wouldn't want to imagine, and luckily won't have to imagine. So, all right, so let's see what the first one says. I want to thank all of you. This was in November 12th, 2021. I want to thank all of you who have generously donated to this cause. I also want to update you on all our progress so far in putting an end to the online torment, which has affected me and my family. Thank you so much to everyone who is making this possible. We are all touched by how much people care and are grateful for the many good people in the world who are making a real difference. Oh, this is I think this was the news story. No, that's not, but that was, we have it. It's where Frank goes to the house and asks for it to stop. Of course, it didn't stop. I think it probably just intensified it, which is horrible. Thanks to our donation, Cohen Davis legal team have finalized the first stage of their preparation. This includes gathering the evidence and identifying the parts which are most harassing and defamatory. The legal team have indicated that the evidence, which includes hundreds of hours of video and thousands of online posts and comments, show a case of defamation and harassment against my family and I, which means we can move forward with the case. They got a barrister, a statement from the lawyers. Since we have begun this campaign, both my family and my lawyers have begun receiving scores of email and telephone calls, not all of which, as you can imagine, are pleasant. Our lawyers explain that while they would have liked to, they are unable to speak to everyone who calls their office for information, as this will unwise use of their time and their supporters. Instead, they agreed to place an update on their website, which gives a little bit of information about the case and how it's being handled. Hold on, I'm over here looking to see if I see it. Oh yeah, there it is. Make sure you're seeing it. Okay. The case of Frankie Ruchak, harassment, solicitor, online harassment, legal action, internet harassment, legal action, harassment online, help UK. I am being harassed on, oh, these are the hashtags. A statement about the case of Frankie Ruchak. Since our firm has taken on the case, both our client and ourselves have been inundated with questions about the case, the legal strategy, and the funding. Whilst we are unable to, at this stage, comment on the case itself or the evidence, we can provide some general information pertaining to the different stages of the funding. Oh, good. Our firm is known for taking on complex cases involving online discovery, harassment, and defamation. Whilst we aim to provide legal assistance to as many victims as possible, our in-house team of legal specialists is relatively small, usually between 12 to 15 lawyers and paralegals. Well, that's not too small, which means we have to make sure that our time is being wisely invested. When I was a social worker, I always took like these periods of time where I was burnt out and I decided no more social work for me. One of the times I tried to be a teacher, that's a huge fail. The second time I tried to be a paralegal, huge fail as well. But I do remember working there, and there was this case. It was this girl pretended to be a boy and lived with a family, and then had a relationship. I don't remember if they were. Anyway, it was a girl pretending to be a boy, and then it was found out, and it was kind of like what was that case, that movie? I can't even think of the movie, but it was done before, but this person did it like 2 years later or so. And so it was a big deal. And I was getting calls from all over the world. It wasn't just the United States. And I just had to say, no comment, no comment. Our client has a reasonably good likelihood of success. An initial assessment often takes a considerable number of hours to complete. We try to reach a decision based on as much information as possible. Raising funds, preserving the evidence. Once the client manages to secure funding, we move on to the next stage in the preparation, which is the preservation and detailed consideration of the evidence. This again requires an investment of a considerable amount of time and legal expertise. Are you going to tell us what it's about? Guess not. I guess not. So let's pop back over to his page and oh wait, first let's look at the last update. What was going on? What did he say in the last update? In update number 5. That's 4. Oh, this is 5, sorry. Dear friends and supporters, are you seeing it? Let me make sure you're seeing it. Yeah, you are. Dear friends and supporters, I hope this update finds you well. I wanted to take a moment to provide you with the latest developments on my ongoing legal journey. Following my latest update, I'm pleased to inform you that all necessary steps have been taken, and we are now in a period of awaiting the court's next actions. Specifically, we are waiting for the court to set a new hearing date, which will be critical in determining several key matters, including our application for judgment and the defendant's application for security of cost. As some of you may know, the court term is currently closed and is scheduled to reopen in October. This means that the hearing is likely to be set sometime around then. While this pause can be frustrating, it is a natural part of the legal process, especially in a case as complex and drawn out as mine. My legal team remains fully prepared and committed to ensure that we are ready to proceed the moment the court term resumes. During this waiting period, we are using this time to strengthen our position and prepare for the next steps. However, the costs of doing so are significant, and we urgently need to raise additional funds. Okay. So they're waiting and they need more money. That's the update. Let me see. Here's the new update from my attorneys about the lawsuit in the UK, which is just like, be patient and wait. No, there's no news is good news. There's no news. There's no update, except they need more money. And then these are just people that have responded. So that would be the update. Oh, it's always frustrating to me when the update isn't the update. It's nothing. Like, I feel like I should play that music. Wah, wah. Wah, wah. I wish I could sing, you guys. I love music so much. I love it so much. But I feel like I waited in line with all my friends, because all my friends usually can play music and they have a great voice. And I'm just like hanging out with my friends. And then I forgot to get in line. I forgot. All I got was the love for it, the appreciation. If I could sing. But I do sing by myself. I belt it. Music is life. Okay, what do you guys think about all this? Oh, wait, you know what? I forgot to do I just realized I was trying to think. I forgot to do something, but yes, I forgot to do the J is for Justice. You guys want to hang out a little bit longer and do the J is for Justice one? It's like 16 minutes, 30 seconds, and I put it on fast. So I'm going to do it. If you guys want to hang out, hang out. Be sure to give this live a thumbs up and see if you're subscribed. I saw that like 78% of you aren't subscribed to my channel that are coming back. What's up with that? 78%? That's high. Like, but you keep coming back. So check and see if you're subscribed. Although I will say this, our subscribers have like flown. We were just like 2 weeks ago, I was celebrating the 4,000 mark, and we're like up to the 4,398. So 398 of you have come through in like 2 weeks. So welcome, 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 welcome. I'm so glad to have you. And I hope you enjoy your stay here. I hope you'll stay and decide this is the place for you. I'm a Gen X, so I'm a little snarky, but I got this, feel for the true crime. And we talk about the paranormal. And we combine the true crime and the paranormal on Sundays. We also have some various podcasts that we do. We do skincare and suspects, where we talk about obviously skincare and suspects. We have the Highly Strange Days that we do on Sunday. That's where we get a little more soulful. And we also are two women that water the grass. If you know, you know. You have to be tricky on YouTube and say various words so that you don't get in trouble for saying various words. So you have to do the wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I transitioned off of all my prescribed narcotics and went to watering the grass, and it's what has saved my life. So, and now I'm microdosing, and I feel like microdosing has, I told my two mods today, I feel like it's like pop the lid off my brain, and there's all this light pouring through. But I'm a person that's very flawed. I've had a lot of problems in my life, and I have had, my dark side is like, whoa, 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 whoa. Just because you're doing that, we're still here. The microdosing company equates it to like a forest. Like you've been going through the same pathways in the forest over and over. And these are my worry, anxiety, stress. I'm not good enough. I'm a failure. I'm a big fraud. And I've been going down these paths, and they're very worn. But the microdosing helps me. I don't know, it just creates these new pathways, and I'm going down these new pathways and kind of seeing the big picture of like why I was doing what I was doing. And eventually the thought is that you'll keep going down these new pathways, and the old pathways will overgrow. And it's, that's like the layman's term. There's big fancy. I'm somebody who, I hear big words and I hear wah, 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 wah. And being a social worker, fancy words they wanted to throw at my people, and it just, fancy words weren't their thing. And so I put it in layman's term for you, and that's layman's term. That's what you're going to get from me. You're not going to get, like, sometimes I throw out a fancy word or two, but half the time I can't even say the words. Like, that's another thing I have going in my mind. I feel like my voice is horrible, but I've been told now it's like people like it. So I have to tell myself these things. But these are things that are like even me, like we're all dealing with our stuff. And It's because of the old ways. We were taught these old dark ways. And there's these new ways, these light ways that are being introduced. And they're out there. And they're catching on. And the dark ways are getting scared. Like, this is like complete metaphor for the world too, right? And, you know, I'm going with the light. And the light, and the thing about the light is the dark is screaming like, whoa, 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 whoa. And the light is just silently pouring more light on it. It's like, and then the anxiety is coming. Like I couldn't do Wednesday because my panic attacks are back and I have to. That's like when I'm truly overloaded, and you know, the dark is really fighting. It's really fighting for its life. And yeah, the light just keeps coming. And I hope that's true for you guys. I want you guys to be filled with light. And but sometimes you have to go through a darkness to get to the light, and that's what I'm going through. Anyway, you guys, let's go in and watch the J is for Justice. Sorry about that long microdosing thing, but it really has been a positive experience for me for the most part.
Or girl come and just say, no, let's go. Like, just back up in the back, put them in, let's go.
We'll examine the evidence, the inconsistencies, and the unanswered questions that continue to cast a shadow over this tragic case. Was Nichol closer to the events than we originally realized? Join me as we explore the mysterious role.
Let's take a peek at the poll, because I want to do a new poll and I want to see how many of you guys think that Nichol was actually there. So we will end this poll. And I will do a new poll while we're watching this.
Nichol Kessinger may have played in the Watts case and what it could mean for our understanding of this tragedy. Okay, so I'm looking at NK. Now hear me out. This is NK, August 12th. That's a call to Chris, or Chris called her, sorry, 9:20 something.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're going to go over here and see poor Shanann called. This is universal time though, but she sent a text, tried calling you to give you an update, was standing to board, and they announced that our crew isn't here yet and it's going to be a minute or an hour before they're here. And then he doesn't reply until universal time 11:21, almost like an hour and a half later. And he says, holy crap, sorry, I passed out on the couch. That's going to be late. And then the next thing in this entry is her coming home at 1:48. So he was ignoring her, because if you look over here, he was talking to her for 111 minutes.
Yep.
You know who I feel like with these polls? I feel like Ryan Anderson. Ryan Anderson loves to do polls on his lives. So it's like, I remember he did one poll, and Ryan Anderson is with the Gypsy Rose case. He's her husband, and he's like, did y'all like to see me crying? Let me do a poll about that. Did you think it was good, or something like that? It was crazy.
Thing different over the last, 2 days, 3 days. Odd vehicles, odd noises, odd lights.
There was a truck out here yesterday. In fact, that's why I thought you were here yesterday. Maybe someone complained about that I hadn't seen before.
What type of truck?
It was kind of almost a steel gray.
Okay.
Don't ask me to make
Okay.
here. But that was late afternoon. The dad has a great big truck, and it's gray. But this one was smaller.
Okay.
This one was smaller.
None.
But I hadn't seen it before, so I.
Any markings or stickers or anything that would be weird? You want by chance remember if the plate was green or red or?
No, I kind of just glance. I don't pay any attention because I believe he owns his own business or something because he always has a truck parked there. So kind of.
I gotcha.
I just kind of noticed it wasn't the normal truck.
Was it dirty by any means?
No, it wasn't. And it couldn't have been that old.
Okay. How long was the truck sitting there?
I saw it yesterday morning around 5:15 a.m. because I go to the gym then.
Okay.
It was still there when I got back at 6:45.
No, taking weird. I mean, tonight we noticed something weird, which a couple of you guys are sitting down here in this great truck. He dumps out his beer can, and then leaves it there, goes down around the block, comes back, picks it up, and kind of turns out here. We're like, what is that about?
In a gray truck?
Yeah, he got his license plate.
Did you call it in?
No.
You're not going to have it still?
Yeah. So I was like, you're going to dump your beer can and then you're going to come back for it when the cops are sitting right there?
Right.
That was weird.
Yes, welcome to our world.
Yeah. And then...
ANJ. 822.
Did you get a good look at the guy or no?
Yeah.
He
Roughly. If he did, that's fine.
had a backwards cap on.
Yeah.
Like a hoodie.
Yeah, maybe.
Does it leave Jim alone? Is this who we're thinking it might be? Leave Jim alone?
20-30.
Nail. Okay. Did the truck say anything on it?
The gray truck with the camper shell.
It was a Ford.
It was a Ford?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did they have the camper shell? What color was it?
The camper shell?
Uh-huh.
It was the same color as his
Yeah,
car.
it was gray too.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, that was the only weird thing we felt tonight. We're like, what?
Newer, older?
It was an older model Ford.
Older
One of the
model.
newer ones.
Okay.
And then my neighbor across the street, she's got the cameras on her house.
So if you look on line 2, this is her billing period from July 14th to August 13th, 2018. This is what she surrendered to the police, I guess. And if you look on line 2, August 13th, no, dude, 6:16 a.m. She made a call to Jim and spoke for 1 minute. And then she didn't get on the horn again until 2:28.
There's definitely a chance of somebody I don't know of being a guy or a girl. And she has plenty of friends through direct sales that I've never met that could have a kid that they come and just say, let's go, just back up in the back, put them in, let's go.
Do you think it's possible Kessinger has threatened Chris so bad, her and her dad, we will harm your entire family and the rest of Shanann's family if you don't just sit here and shut your mouth? Do you think that's a possibility?
But I wouldn't have a name. I wouldn't know who they are. And this is that's what's driving me nuts. When I told them, if she's out there, just come home.
The backsliding door was locked as well.
So how would she have left the house if she did leave the house?
I don't want to put anything out there, just suspecting if something somebody pulled in the back, and because we have a driveway back there from the new townhomes, but it's so hard to tell. There's no cameras in the backyard or anything like that, so it's really hard to even suspect anything right now as far as how she could have left. Or if someone came pick her up, or somebody took her.
It's like he's he's telling us.
You thought was weird?
I wouldn't think anything is weird from over there because normally you hardly ever see anyone go in, come out. Now, I saw his truck leave yesterday. Maybe it was this morning. I was leaving to the gym. His truck had the lights on, which is unusual for that one. 5:15 in the morning. Only fools like me are up.
So you don't usually see him leave at that time of day? That was that the gray truck? What truck was that?
That was his regular truck. It's a pretty big truck.
Okay. So both of those vehicles were there at 5:15 when she left.
Maybe, what could I compare it to? An F-250, 350, the big ones. Yeah.
And that's the old truck? Is that like a pickup or a
pickup
truck?
Yeah.
I would be horrible with describing cars. I'm so bad at cars. It was a truck. It was long. Maybe it was gray. That would have been my description.
Does it have a camper or anything? Camper shell or anything on the back of it? Would you say it's bigger than that truck?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does it have 2 or 4 doors similar?
No, I don't. I never paid much attention. Okay. You're gonna stop paying attention. This is scary.
You went to his house on 2 occasions.
Yes.
Was that recent?
No, that was pretty early into it, and I did not like it and did not want to go back.
Do you recall where the house was?
Yeah, it's right off the highway in Frederick.
August 13th. No, dude, 6:16 a.m. She made a call to Jim.
Okay. And you know the streets?
I mean, I'm sure I could figure it out again if I like really had to. Like off the top of my head, no.
Do you know the street name?
No. I would have to like drive around in there to get there.
Okay. Did it look like anybody else lived at that house at that time?
Oh, definitely. Okay. I mean,
So is that what freaked you out?
I mean, he told me that he was living in the basement. And he said, we're separated, but we're not divorced. And we're going to get ready to sell the house. And that was the impression that I was under. And I was under the impression that they were taking everything pretty slow with this, with like getting ready to sell the house. I mean, those are big things. So that's what I was informed. And I mean, if you think about it, this whole thing happened in a 6-week stretch. Like, it's not really that much of a time frame. So in that sense, like, it's believable to me. Yes, I went to the house, and the first time I was there, I hung out in their like front living room. I just sat on the floor, and it was on the 4th of July. It was the morning of the 4th, and I was helping him to set up MyFitnessPal app and like track his food, his calories and stuff, because he does pretty good with the working out and stuff. And he asked me, he's like, can you help me just like get this dialed in? It's like, yeah, I can do that. So that he invited me up to the house, and I was already kind of hesitant to do it because I was like, there are other people that live here, and I just felt like it was invasion space. And so I went up there, and we just stayed in that front room, and I helped him out with that, and got him all set up with that. And then he asked me if I wanted lunch, and he grilled chicken and carrots. And then that's all he had. And I was like,
Take a look at these screenshots from Chris Watts' Discovery. This is from August 12th, the day before the murders. And it says, at 18:47 hours, a photo of 4 chicken breasts on a barbecue grill was created in Chris's image file. And neighbor Betty offered information about a barbecue they had around 1900 hours on Sunday evening, 8:12, and never heard or saw Bella or Celeste during that time. She did see Watts a couple of times as he was cooking something on the grill, but the girls never appeared when he walked outside.
Which is odd because the girls were always like, shadows and just right along with, they would have come outside.
Could this have been when Nichol really was over at the Watts house and ate chicken with Chris?
and I was like, okay, so we ate, and then I left.
It's easier to anchor a lie with some kind of truth. So she ate chicken at the house, but she said during that fitness app thing, they ate chicken and carrots and sat on a wet carpet. Idiots. And did she anchor the lie?
And then there was another day about, I really want to help you guys. I do. I feel like this whole thing is just going to be crazy regardless of whether I give you my phone or not. I mean, that's kind of how I look at it. I think it's happening. It's going to happen. Well, I don't know if it was 14th or the 15th, one of those 2 days. But we had went out and we stopped there just real quick on the way back. And we were there not very long. But that time I saw a picture of his wife and one of his kids. And I remember thinking to myself, like, wow, she's so beautiful. And I took a step back and I was just like, this man has a gorgeous house. He has beautiful babies. He has a beautiful wife. He has an awesome job. Like, why would he want, I went upstairs once and it was like to their little playroom and I just like looked at it and I was like, that's super cute that your girls have books. And that was like it. And other than that, I had never been in any of those rooms in that upstairs. Like, to me, it was just like, you don't know.
Whatever.
There are 3 total instances where Chris Watts suggests that Shanann would have had to have left from the back because there's cameras in the front. Here are some more screenshots from the Chris Watts Discovery files. This is a quote from Chris. Only way she could have left the house is if somebody picked her up. But if it happened then from the back, because there's the camera in the front where the neighbors, the way it faces the driveway, it would have picked that up. The only thing it picked up was me leaving at like 5:26. According to documents provided by Anna Darko, it appeared that Chris started his work truck at 5:18 a.m. on Monday, August 13th, 2018, and it remained on his residence for 27 minutes. It appeared Chris left his residence at 5:45 a.m. and drove 47 miles to an oil well site in Keensburg, Colorado. Chris arrived in Keensburg.
Do you think they were putting Shanann's body in the back in a car and truck in the back, and then we saw that little shadow, and then he just put the girls in the back seat and Shanann was never there? Shanann was in another vehicle. Do you think that's possible?
At 6.
That way the door would have been locked, from the inside, because it was one of those sliding doors that can only lock from somebody in the inside.
53 a.m.
I saw it yesterday morning around 5:15 a.m. because I go to the gym then. Okay. It was still there when I got back at 6:45.
As if these vehicles couldn't line up at the right times together near the Watts house, Listen to this. Here's another screenshot from the discovery, and it reads, Christopher gave us consent to check Shanann's phone. It had an alert which stated the garage door was opened at 12:42 hours. Detective Baumhofer took the phone to the Frederick Police Department. Christopher showed me his phone, which shows alarm times when the doors are open. It sent an alarm at about the time stating he left the open garage door. Christopher told me that at least 3 times.
That when they broke the garage door?
Which I felt was unusual.
No, actually, he said it was broke while she was in North Carolina.
Shanann's phone showed an alert at 12:42 hours for the garage door, which is the only way someone could leave the residence.
7:15, and then it was there around, I think, noontime.
This is the vehicle that was alleged to be driven by Nichol Kessinger. This vehicle was parked on Google Earth in front of her mother's home, I believe. This has been floating around for years, so I'm not sure if this is even her vehicle. But this is kind of part of where everything came together, if you will.
Okay. So that is what's going on. That was the video, and she has a longer live, I'm pretty sure, on it. But we will link it. What do you guys think? Do you think she was there? Do you think our Kessinger was there? Yay, nay? I don't know. Let's go in and see what you guys are saying in the poll. I'll give you like a few more seconds if you haven't voted. Speak now or forever hold your peace, because you can never change your mind here. Except you can always change your mind here. You can always learn and grow and decide you don't believe what you believed the other day. Okay, let's see. Let's end this mug and see what you guys are saying. 73% say yes. There were 15 votes, by the way. 13% say no. And 13% say, I don't know, honestly. I'm in the 13%. I don't know. I think yes, but I honestly don't know. Let's see what you guys are saying. I think that's why Bella was saying daddy no, and that hit him hard. I don't think he did that alone. She belongs in jail. Work was up for re-election. Yeah, and I think like it's so ridiculous to put that whole thing like Sandy saved Chris's life. Like Rourke put that in Sandy's lap. Don't put that shit in her lap. She didn't, like, they're just trying to make him look good. It was his decision. Sandy, no. They like, it makes for a good story, but I don't believe it. I don't buy it. I do believe that Sandy didn't want him to be on death row, but I don't think hers was the last say so. But it is like, it says something about the family that they didn't want him on death row. I don't want death row either. I think it's more painful to make somebody sit and wait for the rest of their life in one space that isn't such a great space. Although I think that for him, it's a space where he knows what to expect. And Chris kind of likes that. He likes routine. He wants to know what to expect, even if it is in fart, smelly old prison. Fart, dirty sock. All bodies like smelling the same. Blah. I don't know if they have air conditioning. I used to have to go into do intakes, and then I was working to be a CAC, and I was doing some counseling in jail. And when it was hot, when it was during the summer, God, it was awful. Now, the guards and stuff, they sat in air conditioning. The prison or the jail did not. So I don't know why they couldn't have put me in a air-conditioned room in the back. Although I guess it would have been illegal to bring one of the prisoners in the back. They did give me a fan. So. Chris couldn't lift Shanann, but NK and her dad or Jim could. Yeah, they probably all could have together. He wasn't going to be on death row. It was abolished. Yeah, I know. Okay, guys, I am going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much, Giselle, for your sticker. It's very appreciated. Super chat. I mean, get them mixed up. Super chat, super sticker. We also do PayPal and Cashapp, ParaWomenradio. And the women is plural. It's all of us included. It's not just me. It's all of us. And we also have a lot of men that support us and are a part of us as well. We have some dragonflies that are men. Over on Facebook, we have more males. We've got like 5,000, 6,000 people over on Facebook. And I used to do true crime and horror. I did some acting, and I also was directing plays back then. And so it was at one point ParaWomen Scream Radio. And yeah, so there's a lot of men that follow us from that because men like Scream Queens. All right, I'm going to go, you guys. Thank you so much for being here, everyone. Make sure I said everything. We're going to watch the video as we go out. I was thinking, like, what were some of my favorite memories in the CC Bella and Shanann videos? And for me, it was when CC would get locked in the closet. I thought that was cute. And I like the one where it's you, and then she says it back, you. That was one of my favorite ones. And for Bella, it was when it was obviously a staged video where, I have a baby in my belly, and the girls were kicking. And then Bella went off script, you can tell, and bent down and kissed her tummy. And she was like, "Oh, I love you, Bella." I thought that was so sweet. And I also liked when Bella met baby Cece and she took the hat off and she was trying to put it on. And then she goes, "Nice." I thought that was super sweet. And then Shanann, I mean, I just really liked all of her videos. I think she was a class act. She had a lot of conviction. And she was the one when, a few years ago, I was really sick and I was in the hospital like 30 times, no less than 30 times in a year, just constant round. And I just was laying in bed, and her video where she was, saying "don't give up" in the purple shirt. And I didn't give up because I didn't know she was unalived. I just heard her voice telling, and it was inspiring to me. And so I will never forget that. I will never forget Shanann and the girls. And I wish we could have known Nico as well. I'm honored to be able to have seen the videos that I have been able to see. And I can safely say, Shanann, Bella, Cece, Nico, I love you guys. You guys have changed my life. And for my power crew and my dragonflies, I love you guys. I love you guys so much. And I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
If you tell me I should go tonight, then I'll do my best to leave. But as fate has so decided now, I simply cannot find a way. Am I doomed to travel endless roads and spend my days and nights with broken things. I wish that I could kiss your pain away. I still feel that we were meant to be. Now I stand beyond that broken door. How I wish that I could stay. If we spin around in circles, babe, can't we somehow float away? I think I'll cut down that old willow tree. Do you remember that old tree? I will break it into pieces, babe.
Hi guys, welcome to ParaWomenradio. I'm Amy.
Carefully strumming this old guitar, words rolling out into the fire. Never ask why my heart burned blue. Here in the haze where you inspire me. Here in the darkness I hear my cue. Time to find some solitude. Here where my soul bleeds openly. Deep in the heart of sin and you. Here in the blue, I'm falling deep into you. Here in the blue, I'm dancing with you tonight, and it feels fine. Carefully strumming this old guitar again.